Okay, welcome everyone to the Bachelor Open Day of the Erasmus University in Rotterdam, and welcome to this alumni session of International Business Administration, the Bachelor Program of RSM. Today we have with us Miruna. She's an IBA alum, so from International Business Administration, and she also graduated this summer from her Master's Program Marketing Management, also at RSM. Welcome, Miruna.
Good afternoon, everyone. Happy to see so many of you in the room today. Welcome. I think there's also people who are joining us today via the live stream, so welcome to you as well. My name is Miruna, and today I'm going to share with you my experience with IBA, but also what happened beyond IBA graduation. If you have any questions, please keep them until the end of this presentation. Every story has a beginning, right? So I think it would be best to start from the very beginning. I was born in Romania 23 years ago, and I lived there for my entire life. However, I've always had a thirst of knowledge and a vivid curiosity for the unknown. And while being in high school, I became really fascinated about this idea of expanding my horizons and coming to a foreign country. Imagine the reaction of my parents, and I think some of the parents here can relate to that, when I told them that, hey, Mom and Dad, I'm deciding that I want to go abroad. They were like, seriously, Miruna? Are you going to leave us here alone? What are you going to do by yourself there? You're definitely not going to manage in a foreign country. And I was like, okay, thanks for the leap of faith and the confidence, Mom and Dad. Well, regardless of their confidence, I decided to do some research on universities abroad. And most of my older friends were already admitted at universities in the UK at that point. What was I mainly interested in? Well, international program, of course, opportunities to do an exchange or an internship, rankings, location, to name a few. In the end, after I did a bit of research for universities in the UK, Holland, and the Scandinavian region, I decided to only apply here in the Netherlands to Rotterdam, Utrecht, and The Hague. I finally chose RSM, and I never ever regretted that choice. So welcome to my IBA years. The first year was definitely the most challenging. As said, I've never been by myself in a foreign country for longer than a week, and that was for holiday purposes with my parents. So here I was, by myself, for the very first time. I never cooked, never washed clothes, not to mention ironing them. And believe me, I've mastered these skills in very little time. IBA started with a lot of enthusiasm from my side. I came here around mid-August as I attended the Eureka Week, as you can see in these pictures, which is a 4-day event for students from all faculties. And basically, students get to know Rotterdam, the campus, there are information markets, and of course, there's lots of having fun. Afterwards, I attended the IBA Freshman Weekend, which is a weekend only for IBA students. And basically, it gives students the opportunity to network within the IBA program. Nowadays, I think the event takes place at the seaside, at the beach side. But I highly recommend to any new person coming into the IBA program to join this type of events. How many of you are from outside the Netherlands in the room? Can I see some hands? Okay, so quite a few of you. I guess the Dutch people are going to relate mostly when I'll tell this. I was just settling in here, and I was not really used to this university routine, and for me it was actually very challenging to get used to listening and talking English at all times. And one day I said to my friend, okay, let's go biking around Carlugea. So I was meeting her at the student hotel, and while biking there, well, I was the unfortunate one that fell with the bike in the tram rails. And the Dutch person is going to say, oh, but that happens every day. It happened to me. It happens every day. It happens to any of us. But I was very unlucky, so I ended up with a plaster cast for 2 months. I ended up at Erasmus MC, waiting for like 3 hours in the emergency room. And of course, imagine that, I was really scared. I called my father and I told him, well, don't panic, I'm okay, but I broke a leg. And the next day he said, oh, I'm coming there to stay with you for a week. Of course, imagine that I cried myself to sleep for like a night, but then I said, okay, I either give up now and I go back to Romania because I'm not going to manage by myself, or I keep on pushing forward. So while my friends were having fun, I was spending evenings watching movies, reading, and doing mind maps for my courses. But I must say that IBA support here was great during these months. I was in very close contact with Thea, one of the student advisors, and she really kept me motivated as well. So as you can see, the first year meant a lot of things for me. Getting used to a new environment, getting used to different study methods, and adjusting to all the various cultures surrounding me. In IBA program, there's about 50 plus nationalities. So imagine how challenging that was to absorb it and to understand it. I had such a completely different way of doing things than my peers, and so many times I was taken aback by all these differences. I did struggle with some courses, such as operations management, or kept on complaining that some of my teammates were constantly free riding on the project. But I learned to manage by myself to all circumstances, but I also had fun and made friends that are still up with me up to this day. And for instance, in the second year, I had some friends that had like this huge apartment, and they were always having themed parties, and this one was a movie-themed party, and we all dressed up really nicely, and they even put like a red carpet so we could feel like cinema stars. So that was always a lot of fun. Since you are sitting in this room, I guess you've all read the IBA curriculum. And I'm pretty sure that you've also noticed a course titled First Year Mentor Program. Believe me, that will be one of the main highlights of the program. Because in my second year of studies, I can tell you that I became also a mentor myself because of how much I enjoyed being part of the program as a first-year student. And I really liked helping out new students coming into the IBA program. And I got so attached to the program that 2 years later, I came back into the program as one of the mentor coordinators, so basically working more backstage with IBA program management. And I was in charge of helping the mentors in their preparation. And I also offered them a 4-day training program within a team of 3 people, which really allowed me to explore my creativity, communication, and facilitation skills. And again, if you've looked closely to the curriculum, you've also noticed that in your third year of studies, you can choose between exchange, internship, or minor. Well, maybe some of you here already have an idea. You've seen that and you're like, okay, I really want to do an internship in my third year because I want to be prepared when I graduate for a job. Maybe you don't have any idea, but that's okay because I changed my mind about 5 times. And I ended up going to an exchange to University of Hong Kong. And to be honest, that was probably like one of the highlights of the program for me because I had the time of my life. I met fantastic people. I was allowed to take courses that were really fitting my interests and travel through Southeast Asia. I also became even more culturally aware, and I tried as much as I could to immerse into the Asian culture. And last but not least, at the end of the third year in the bachelor program, there's what we call the dreadful bachelor thesis. Well, it's not that dreadful, but you work in a team of 3 students, which can make your life easier or way more difficult, depending on how you choose your teammates, of course. And basically, you choose a topic that you like. Well, to be honest, I got the topic that I thought I was going to like. I didn't like it in the end, but I made the best out of it. And the experience itself was challenging, with a lot of research going on, spending about 100 hours only to find some academic papers, and another 100 hours to find some databases to extract information. But this experience will definitely teach you new skills by making you sharper and more analytical. Well, and if all goes well, and I'm pretty sure it's going to go very well, you'll end up at the stage at the new Luxor Theater with your IBA diploma in the hand, and afterwards celebrating afterwards with your friends your accomplishment. All in all, IBA is a great program, and it will open you a world of opportunities. And if you do decide to pursue IBA at RSM, and I strongly encourage you to do, you will become the owner of your time, being study or social related, and learn to make choices and decisions. There will be times when you'll get incredibly frustrated that your strategic business plan teammate is free riding, or that you don't get a single thing in corporate finance, or that some professor might not meet up with your expectations. But that's okay. It is part of the process of growing, learning, and constantly developing yourself. You will find out that the people in the IBA program management are here to support you and assist you at all times. And their presence is one of the best assets of this program. You'll never be alone in this program, but it will be up to you to be the ruler of your IBA life. So, I'm here as an IBA alumna. So what's life after IBA? Well, as Estella already mentioned, I decided to do a master's degree right after IBA graduation, even though I did think to take a gap year, as some of my friends did, or do some internships. But I actually had my official master graduation last week at the Doelen in the city center of Rotterdam. So you might wonder, why did I go for a master directly after finishing IBA? To be honest, I just wanted to be done with studying. I didn't want to be in a university anymore. I wanted to do it in one go. But I'm really happy with my choice, because now, to be honest, I would have found it extremely difficult to come back to the study routine. While I was in Hong Kong, I told you already that I had the chance to try some courses that were really fitting my interests. So I got the chance to explore more in-depth the area of marketing. So this is why I decided to go for a master's degree in this field. And the master here at RSM was quite challenging, because it's a one-year program and the time frame is very intense, especially writing a master thesis by yourself. So this time you really have to be structured, and you are more independent in that process. But in hindsight, I really grew and developed myself in all sorts of ways. I definitely improved my time management skills, because I was involved in various activities. So as said, I worked together with IBA program management as the mentor coordinator. As you can see in the picture, this is us at the mentor training. And I also did a consultancy project. So these are my teammates for 4 months with exchange students. That consultancy project really gave me hands-on experience in working with a company and solving a business issue they had at that moment. Of course, in IBA, I had the chance to work on projects with real-life companies, but this time it was on a very global scale. And I found it really interesting to understand the complexities of conducting business on such global scale, but also understanding the specifics of the industry. The company we were working for was a swine genetic company, so that was very interesting to understand how it works in the pig industry. And also during my master, I followed the honors program, which was for top-class students. It consisted of keynote speakers, lectures, and company visits, with solving cases and giving presentations. I got the chance to visit Unilever, Nike, EMEA headquarters, brand loyalty, and AB InBev companies. I graduated with a cum laude degree from my master, with my thesis written on the Volkswagen case, the emission scandal. After finishing university, I went on a study trip to Rio de Janeiro, organized by the STAR Study Association. If you come here, you're going to hear a lot about STAR, because they do organize lots of activities here also for the IBA program, but also recruitment activities here on campus. So I strongly recommend to keep an eye on them. And it was a great experience, especially since I enjoy traveling so much, but I also got a chance to understand the Brazilian culture and the way of doing business there. So what am I doing now, since I already said that I graduated last week? Well, probably the biggest challenge of the past year was finding a job. And you might wonder, okay, I had this really cool IBA experience, so how comes that finding a job was really challenging? First, I don't speak Dutch. And after 4 years here, I started Dutch classes 3 weeks ago. So automatically, there were so many jobs that I simply couldn't apply for as an international student here because of the language requirement. Second, I aimed high. I didn't want to do an internship. I really wanted to do a traineeship, which are usually way more competitive. But at the same time, I knew that I was not really equipped for a full-time entry-level job. And third, most of the time, my competitors in the recruitment processes were also students that were coming from RSM. So this means that they were comparable on the level of skills and knowledge they were having. And for instance, last week at the graduation, I met this girl. She did business information management for her master. And we were together in an assessment center for British Telecom Benelux. And I didn't get the job, and I was really disappointed that I didn't. And we were talking and catching up during the event, and then she said, "Oh, I got the job at British Telecom," you know? And it's very interesting to see that afterwards she was also an RSM alumni. So basically we were coming from, RSM was our parent in terms of education, right? So basically it wasn't easy, not at all, when it came to looking for a job. So, well, you know that saying, at least in Romania we do use it a lot, that hope dies the last one. So here I am, currently working as a graduate trainee at Eastman Chemical Company. You might have heard of Eastman Kodak. So they were part of Eastman Kodak. It's a global specialty chemical company headquartered in Kingsport, Tennessee. It has approximately 15,000 employees worldwide and 50 manufacturing sites. It's serving customers in approximately 100 countries. In 2016, it got the Ethisphere World's Most Ethical Companies Prize, and it is one of the Glassdoor Employees' Choice Best Places to work. And I work not very far away from here. It's in Capelle an der IJssel, so 50 minutes walking from Carlugea Zone. And we have the IMEA headquarters located here. Well, when I tell my friends that I work for a chemical company, they get a bit puzzled. So I think to give you a bit of insight of what Eastman is doing, I'm going to actually show you a video.
This is the story of Eastman Chemical Company, a global leader in chemicals, plastics, and fibers. The world depends on our insights to create materials that are in just about everything, from the film in your windshield, the screen on your e-reader, to the coating on your aspirin tablet. Our global community of 14,000 employees continue to pioneer the innovations that lead to practical solutions. Eastman Materials enable the success of thousands of household and industrial products. Our manufacturing sites stretch from Asia, across Europe, Latin America, and North America, including the US, where we were founded in 1920. We started simply enough as part of Eastman Kodak, making chemicals to process camera film for an expanding middle class. We've grown to meet the technical and scientific challenges demanded by modern society. Our story is about creating tomorrow. We invest in the skilled workforce required to ask, what if? And refuse to settle for obvious solutions. We are putting our chemistry to work, making life easier and better. Be it a safer food supply, more convenient packaging, or even a better looking dress. The world's leading brands depend on our insight and technical expertise to enable their success, focusing on safety while defining 21st century design and innovation. The women and men of Eastman Chemical Company are poised to meet the world's ever more complex challenges. Creating tomorrow, it's what we do and it's who we are. Pushing the boundaries of science, creating a new generation of technologies that are high-performing and increasingly sustainable. While the world's resources are finite, humanity's needs continue to progress. We are forward-thinking about what we make and how we make it. Our near century of success and global growth continue, powered by the dedication of our employees doing what they do best. Eastman Chemical Company. We are the results of insight.
Okay, so this is in a nutshell what the company does. I started there on September 1st, so I've only been there for a month and a bit. And what I do really like about it is the team spirit and the very open and collaborative nature of the way people do their work. I really enjoy going there, and I felt very much integrated since the very first day. What does a traineeship mean? It's a traineeship program for 2 years, and as a trainee, basically you get the chance to rotate through various assignments. The first assignment, most of the times, they do know your interests, so to say, but they have a lot more say in what you're going to do. But afterwards, they are also going to look into my specific interests. I did a bit of onboarding phase now in September, so basically I got the chance to meet everybody from the marketing team, but also some other key people from the company, also the VP of the region, and some other business directors. I also got myself acclimatized to IT and HR systems, which is always very important. So to wrap it all up, I want to give you some food for thought for when you leave this room. First, IBA will challenge you on every aspect, but it will open lots of doors. Make sure you embrace challenges and opportunities with an open mind. Second, learn to be tolerant and culturally aware. What works for you might not work for somebody else. Third, always ask questions. Don't be afraid. And also learn to listen. It's very important. And fourth, never give up, even when the waters might seem rough. Lastly, if you really, really like management and business, and you want to be part of a competitive environment, to always learn new things, and to be challenged on a constant basis, IBA is definitely the right place for you. I wish you the best of luck, and I hope you found this presentation useful. So if you have any questions, I'm very much welcome to answer them right now. You have to press this red button here so the mic is going to actually work for you. Thank you so much for your attention.
Excuse me.
Yes?
You have a very nice presentation, and congratulations with your job.
Thank you.
I wonder if there is a point of attention concerning the Erasmus University. Is there something less perfect at the university than what you told us?
Well, I think I tried to be as balanced as I could in the presentation, and I said that sometimes people are not, you're going to be disappointed sometimes. Well, I think for me, sometimes it was difficult to understand, you know, like some bureaucratic processes and some stuff that you cannot really change. Maybe for me it was very difficult to understand the exam system. It's a system that goes with multiple choice questions most of the times, and the grading system, I hated it. I never understood it. It's something that was really taking me aback all the time. So I think that was something for me, learning how to study for those exams. I thought that it was like maybe not so nice part. Yeah? Does this answer your question? Yeah. But now that I mentioned the exams, I think it's not to scare you or something. It's just that it depends on how you were also trained to study for them. I was trained to study in a complete different way back home. I was usually, you know, like, give me the information and I'm going to store it somewhere in my head, and after an exam it's going to go away. But here, you know, I really had to train my mind in a certain way that I could actually also understand the concepts. So that was maybe more difficult. So I think it also depends from person to person. Yeah?
When you applied for the IBA, did you have any international experiences?
No, I didn't. I was fully raised in Romania, and I was actually scared a bit that maybe that would be more of one of my disadvantages. But I think, you know, I really showed eagerness that I really wanted to do this international experience, and that it's going to help me on the long run.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah? Yeah, now it's working.
Is there a balance between practical assignments and literature at this program?
Yes, it is. So actually from the very first year, you do, it's called Strategic Business Plan, and it's a 6 months course. And with that one, you have to go and look for a Dutch small medium enterprise. And basically, you're going to work with them directly. You actually create a business plan for that company. So it's more hands-on. Then in the second year, there's also another course that also you go also work with a company. And there's also lots of activities taking place on campus. So I mentioned Star Study Association. They do some consultancy projects, and you can also join case study competitions, and those are also more hands-on.
Okay, thank you.
Nice.
Can I ask another question?
Sure.
Is group work encouraged at the IBA?
Definitely. There's very, very few assignments, if I recall correctly, that you actually do on yourself. Other than that, most of the work is done in teams. And what is always strongly encouraged is to have as much diversity as possible in your teams. I think for the first trimester in IBA 1, you get the teams assigned by program management, of course, because you don't really know anybody, but afterwards you become the owner of how you choose your teammates.
Thank you.
Yeah?
So Eastman seems like a technical company.
Yeah.
How did what you learned at IBA and your skills that you developed, how did that help you at this company as a trainee right now?
Well, I think, as I said, I've just started there, and definitely the main challenge is actually understanding the industry and the technical part of it. But looking back into the recruitment process, I think the way my brain was shaped during IBA program with all these assignments, learning how to make, market estimations and some calculations and everything, it really helped me to push forward also in the recruitment process. And I could see the difference from a person that didn't have an IBA background in the recruitment process, in the way we approach things. So the first assessment with Eastman was a team case-based assignment. So they gave us a case, and then we had to read it and solve it together as a team. And I think in IBA, I got my mind was really shaped in such a way that I knew how to approach an issue. I knew how to ask the questions. I knew the key concepts. I knew I knew how to have a basic understanding of the value chain and how each component in the value chain affects each other, what a value proposition it is. I really had a solid basis that really helped me tackle problems. So that would be, I think that's how IBA helped me. Yeah.
Why did you choose for an exchange program instead of an internship?
I said that I'm going to work for my entire life. I'm 23 now, so I said that after I graduate, I'm going to work for my entire life afterwards, so I should make the best out of it and do an exchange. And to be honest, I saw that the people who did an internship did have maybe more of a competitive edge into the application process, because I think you have an advantage that you've been in a company, yeah, and you have more of a practical experience. But maybe I was at some point, maybe I should have done an internship, but exchange was really helped me to find my interest, Without this exchange, maybe I would have done finance. I don't think so, but I'm just saying.
All right, thank you.
Yes?
How did you manage to study here without actually speaking Dutch? Did it cause any trouble for you?
No, not really. Like, everybody here speaks perfect English. I never had any problems. Maybe with understanding my bills and my belastingdienst papers, I think that was the most challenging part. Google Translate is not always accurate. But I did decide now to study Dutch because, I'm going to be here for at least the next 2 years. And I sometimes miss on this interaction part. Like, sometimes people come to me and they ask me a question in Dutch, and I'm like, I kind of understand it, and sometimes I already answered them to English, but then I'm like, every time, like, can you please ask again in English? And then they're like, oh, you're not going to know. But I'm like, oh, maybe I know, I've been living here for this much. So it was not a problem, to be honest.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
If the language barrier was a problem for you to get a job in Holland, did you think about going abroad, like to England or to the US?
I did apply to jobs in England. I actually went to like quite a final stage for this marketing integrated communication company. But also with England, finding a job there as a student coming, they have a very good education system in the UK as well. And I think they are more inwards oriented in terms of how they choose the people that go there for a job, and it's way easier to pick from, you compete with people that come, RSM is a top ranked company, but top ranked university, but sometimes, I knew that my competition within the UK was actually very, very strong. And when I went to this assessment center in London, actually in the city center of London in Oxford Circus, I was the only person there that didn't have an education background from the UK. Yeah.
Do your parents understand your choice by now?
Yes, and they say you shouldn't come back home. You should go stay there and make the best out of it. At some point I told them, hey, maybe I can look at options also to work home because I have this knowledge and probably people are going to really appreciate it. And they're like, no, all this investment into your education, just try and keep on going there and stay within an international environment. Yeah. Yes?
Is it common that you write your bachelor thesis with multiple persons?
Sorry?
Is it very common that you write your bachelor thesis with multiple persons?
Yes, the bachelor thesis is done in a group of 3 persons. And to be honest, because now I have the master experience as well, and I know how it was to do it by myself, it's definitely way better to work into a team, because you really know how to divide the tasks, and then it's within the bachelor thesis of the IBA program management. IBA program is very, very well structured, and there's no way you're going to lag behind at some point. Yeah. Any other questions? Yeah.
What master did you do?
Marketing management.
Ah.
Yeah. Yes.
Is your master thesis publicly accessible?
Yes, it is on the thesis, I don't know how it's called, the UR thesis depository or something. Yeah, it's on the UR thesis depository, but that one you can only access it with the student, or it's called ERNA account, what we have here to access the university systems. So you can only access it with that one. Yeah.
Do you feel like this university prepared you fully for what you're doing now?
Yes, I do feel. What I did miss, because now I'm working in marketing, and what I did miss in the master program was having something more quantitative. Most of the courses were qualitative, and of course there's lots of quantitative part in IBA.
Yeah.
But yeah, I always said that I'm never going to use it, so I shouldn't focus on it because I'm not very good at it. But now I need it, so I'm like, oh, maybe I should have paid more careful attention.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Anybody else? Yeah.
Thank you so much, Miruna, for sharing your story and your experience with us. It's very inspiring, so thank you for that. So if you would like to have more information about the IBA program, there's another general session planned at 2 o'clock. It's on the second floor, room number 3. If you've already seen the session earlier today, or you want to attend a second session, or you have other questions, you're welcome to go to the IBA stand located on the first floor. We have other colleagues and also current IBA students answering your questions. So thank you and have a nice day.
Thank you.